99% of people would not survive the day 1 of zombie virus outbreak, but I'm here to show you how I made it to day 100 while being hunted by bandit NPCs and zombies alike on every step of the way. But first, meet Pops Coldone, a burglar who was a jack of all trades, but his two most important traits were thick-blooded to stem the flow from the many bullet wounds he received throughout the playthrough and unwavering for reduced movement penalty from said wounds. Alas, to compensate, he had a lot of negative traits, but I was adamant they would not affect my plans. And my plans went from basic survival at first to then building the most secure base in Project Zomboid, where I could fight off insane late-game bandit raids, but more about that later. I started naked, drunk, sick, and bleeding all over. It was the middle of winter, my house was on fire, the zombie numbers were set to insane, and I was stuck in the biggest city in Project Zomboid. It actually took me 13 tries to even make it past day 1, and it all started out like this. I ripped a glass shard out of my penis, stole some clothing, then I ran out of the burning house. I got lucky with a survivor car. Alas, me being completely drunk didn't help my driving at all, so I had to ditch it after crashing a couple of times. I thought I was safe hiding inside a house, but the government started gassing the streets and I got the whiff of the acid, so I had to bail.
Oh, we have the army here. Holy shit, look at that.
I tried to stick with the military, but when the bombs began to fall, all hell broke loose.
Oh, they're starting to shoot stuff on the road. Fuck.
I have no idea how I survived that, but I decided running to the river away from the streets would keep me safe. And I was kinda correct, as I managed to spend the evening there with a bunch of Marines fishing. They were a great distraction and an even better source of loot once they inevitably succumbed to the burning zombies.
Oh, let's go. My groin is stitched.
I munched on raw coffee beans to stay awake through the night, fighting fiery zombies while the army shed their pants. Alas, when the first bandit showed up, I was sure I was corpse starch, but then this happened.
No, no. Oh, they just nuked us?
I survived even that, albeit with ripped clothing and 3 bad wounds, but still alive on the morning of day 2. The moodles were stacked against me, but exploration was the only way forward.
Well, at least this house isn't on fire. Let's go, see if we can find something useful in here.
It might not have been on fire, but it was ripe with Zeds, so I stuffed my face full of coffee beans like a white-collar worker on their morning commute to a job where they get pissed upon daily by their inbred boss who bought the business with a small loan of $1 million from their daddy. I fixed my bloody bandages, explored the house, and looted the many dead survivors. Then I moved on.
Get that coffee in my body.
I fought for another house and explored it fully, and by then the night was already dark and full of terrors, so I decided to take my first nap in 48 hours. I was still sick and wounded the next morning, but at least I had a good night's sleep, which kept me fresh while I continued to explore the Riverside mansions.
Whoa, 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 run, run, fucking hell. Oh, that's another hole. That's another hole in my shirts.
Another hole in my shirt was better than another hole in my body, which was nicely showcased by a bandit who came for my ass next.
Oh, the raider just got herself eaten. Oh, that was amazing.
I kept on following the river like a lost salmon who swam up a season early, until another bunch of bandits showed up bearing gifts.
Oh, they brought cigarettes. Let's fucking go.
That tar-filled treasure kept me fighting long into the afternoon, for which I was rewarded with first skill up of long blunt. Now at this point you might ask, Coco, what are your plans here exactly? Well, I'm glad you asked. You see, as I fought my way from one mansion to another, I planned and I schemed. My short-term plan was simple: deal with my most immediate and pressing issues, getting over my cold.
Fucking sneezing and coughing, they can beeline onto me like I'm a fucking beacon of Minas Tirith. The Gondor calls for aid.
The next step was to heal my many wounds.
Oh, let's fucking go. We got a suture needle. Oh, let's fucking go.
And finally, I needed to find a temporary home for safety.
That's a friendly. That's a friendly. That friendly's gonna freeze to death.
Then my midterm plan was to find a working vehicle and get the fuck out of the nightmare that is insane zombie pop Louisville, which would then translate perfectly into my long-term plan, which was to secure a base that could withstand any and all insane late-game bandit raids. But waking up on day 5, I knew I was still far away from any semblance of safety.
How did that zombie get past you, lady? I have questions.
The friendlies were dying all around, but that was just as fine, because I wanted what they had. Alas, my villain arc then got rudely interrupted.
Ooh, okay, that's not good.
So I decided to backtrack to the mansion where I slept on day 2, in hopes that I could heal inside safely. But the friendly who was following me had another idea.
Please don't use the gun here, dude. You're gonna attract all the fucking zombies.
Luckily, karma is a bitch, so he got murdered shortly after, and finally I had some peace to just chill.
Oh, let's go. I finally have no noodles, 0 bad noodles.
To celebrate, I then brought a barbecue upstairs and cooked my first proper meal of the run. Celebrations continued the next morning when I realized my head and arm were now fully healed, leaving only my penis as the only problem, and let's be real, my penis always got me into trouble anyway.
Did you just get one tapped? Oh, that was fucking hilarious.
I yoinked the stuff off of that unlucky survivor. Then I realized he actually had an even greater treasure for me.
Oh my god, we actually have a belt? Oh, that's freaking amazing. Let's go, finally.
I then dealt with some inventory management until I got raided again.
Oh, there's 2 of them coming. Get the fuck away from me. Fuck.
Luckily, my clothes tanked that one hit I suffered, but then they suffered a fate much worse. I then dismantled every wooden piece of furniture I could get my hands on until I hit level 1 in carpentry. That allowed me to break the floors to essentially isolate myself upstairs. Alas, I did not remain isolated upstairs, which almost got me killed.
Fuck. Holy shit, where were you hiding, you bastards?
But I got a large backpack and a whole bulletproof vest as a reward, so it was totally worth it. And do you know what else is worth it? Using Surfshark VPN to keep you safe online by encrypting all your private information and keeping your online activity hidden from all bandits and zombies trying to get you. Look, if you never used a VPN before, worry not, because even I managed to set it up with ease, and I'm never going back. You see, I live in a small country called Slovenia, and when I want to watch my favorite show, well, clearly someone is trying to prevent me from finding true love. But with just a click of a button, I can access British streams and watch young, beautiful people who think the biggest struggle in life is picking which shoes to wear tonight, find true love, or preferably a brand sponsorship that will set them for life. Laugh at me all you want, but it's what I chose to watch because with Surfshark VPN, I could. They have over 3,000 servers in more than 100 countries and great 24/7 customer support. And of course, if for some reason you are not satisfied with Surfshark, they have a 30-day money-back guarantee policy. You can also connect an unlimited amount of devices to your account and stay safe at home or on the go forever, especially if you use the Surfshark antivirus as well. So don't hesitate, get your Surfshark VPN today and use my link in the description with the promo code Kokoplays to get extra 4 months of Surfshark for free. Now let's get back to my journey where I realized the bandits were trying to block the street. So like a Mongolian warlord bent on destruction, I rode in on my horse named AK-74 and stole their bashed up car.
They basically gave me a fully fueled car? Oh, let's fucking go.
Unfortunately, the vehicle was absolute trash, but it was now my trash, and every hobo knows that their trash is the best trash ever, until they beat up another hobo and proceed to steal their trash.
Oh, we have a running car? I'm just gonna go away, you have fun.
The van turned out to be a one-of-a-kind diamond out of the trash pile, and I fought my hardest to keep it mine when a bunch of thieves showed up. After watching another raider perish to the Zeds defending my base, I took stock of the many magazines I looted over the last week, and after unloading them all, I then had 50 boxes worth of AK ammo. I continued jerking off the next morning, which got me to level 1 reloading. Once I got bored of choking the metal chicken, I ate a donut to feel better. Then I watched a woman get eaten alive by the undead.
Oh, you just killed her? She seemed to be friendly and you just killed her,
And that fixed my boredom issues. So I then returned upstairs to shake hands with Mr. President again, which netted me a nice stack of 9mm boxes. On day 9, I decided to explore back towards where the bombs fell, but on the way there, I ran into an old friend.
Holy shit, that's a lot of corpses down here. Oh, there's my old car!
I fought tooth and nail to sort out my looting rights, because those bodies were full of first aid items, ammo, and other useful paraphernalia. There was a Zippy Mart nearby I wanted to check, unless I forgot to account for all the shopping did.
Let's run away. Let's fucking run away. Don't let your car die. Let's fucking go.
So I ran, but instead of retreating to safety like a smart person, I decided to explore towards the Louisville entrance because I thought I was a smart person, but it turned out I'm actually a stupid person.
I didn't notice the blockade at the back of the hospital.
But as I ran for the river, I realized that sometimes fortune favors the stupid.
Oh my god, that's all the fish the military fished out. Look at that, it's all fresh still.
Since I spotted a couple of soldiers taking a bath in the river, I decided to return there the next morning, armed with planks, nails, and a new level in carpentry. I carefully built a bridge towards the corpses and was rewarded by a new gun and a bunch of ammo. I was now confident I had enough ammo to protect myself from bandits in the long term, but my issue was my aiming skill, or the severe lack of it. Alas, there wasn't much I could do about it yet, so I just returned home to yoink the metal. After enjoying a fishy breakfast, I continued destroying my house in hopes of getting some extra nails.
It would have been better if I read the book for this, but it will have to do.
Alas, I did not have the book, so I just kept on home wrecking the neighbors as well, just like your mom did when you were little, and that's why your dad left to get the milk. I used the nails to upgrade my baseball bat and repair it to full condition, which I then tested on some squishy zombie skulls at the large apartments next doors.
Alright, quickly, let's check the car. It looks like absolute trash, and it is. Alright, oh, these cars are good, let's bail.
But I returned the next day, because the large hordes hiding inside those Soviet blocks gave me a terrible idea.
Well, this is probably gonna be a terrible idea, but let's fucking give it a try, shall we?
I felt I had enough spare ammo that I could use it to train my aiming skill. Normally, I'd be doing this with a shotgun and wouldn't even fire an AK until at least level 5 aiming. But sometimes a man's gotta do what a man does.
Let's go. Let's go. Level 1 aiming. You love to see it. Oh, it's just gonna get easier.
I also hit reloading level 2 as I kited the giant death ball of rotten flesh around the apartments, which rolled like a fat man on a state-mandated, taxpayer-bought mobility scooter, snowballing into a premature cardiac arrest-fueled death on 4 wheels.
Oh, great. The gun broke. Well, now it's time to run.
I snuck back home, confident that the thousands of zombies that just stirred across the road will definitely not follow me home. Alas, the thousands of zombies did follow me home.
We might need a Molotov for all this.
But just like Molotov and Ribbentrop, I lied. There was no burning zombies. There was only my trusty AK, which got me to the next aiming level. I spent the whole morning kiting and shooting and kiting, and then I did some more shooting until I ran out of ammo. Alas, I certainly didn't run out of zombies.
Was it worth it? I don't know. That was like 300 bullets or more spent for like half a level.
It was totally worth it, just to see all the many Zeds stuck around my house, which gave me another idea. And so I spent the rest of the day sniping Zeds from high above, like a working class Jesus with illusions of grandeur. The next morning, it smelled like the bandits were setting up a base nearby. But that was the least of my problems, because the invasive species of Homo undeadus kept on being, well, invasive.
It's like shooting fish in the barrel, look at that.
But the fish learn how to hide, so I broke down more of the flooring to build them a new barrel, at which point they actually learn how to swim up the stairs.
Let's freaking go. Level 3 aiming. That is a big upgrade.
On day 15, I decided I had enough of being trapped inside my house, so I set up new sheet ropes and sent it.
Oh fuck, there's a survivor here?
Luckily, she came here to help, and together we played tennis and then led the zombies to an adventure.
Oh shit, there's a lot here already.
I managed to sneak back home, and after hitting level 1 in spear, I decided I had enough of this shit. The next day was more of the same, fighting, stabbing, hiding, and shooting innocent civilians.
Oh, that was not good. Sorry, buddy, but you came rushing at me.
I instantly regretted my actions, so I took out my pickaxe to avoid shooting any more friendlies.
Oh, sorry, buddy, I didn't want to hit you, Jesus. I was trying to hit the zombie.
In the afternoon, I decided to take my whole 15 shotgun shells for a party, and while they did have a great stopping power, there was only so much 15 shells could do.
Well, here we are again in the exact same spot as we were before. Running down the street with a huge horde on my back.
I had only one option left, take out my AK and use it as an advertisement for the local bandit establishment, who were happy to take on all of the new customers I brought them. But after retreating from my day job as a local salesman, I noticed this.
Oh, these guys have a fucking generator. Holy shit!
Green with envy at their next level skills, I returned back home to do angry push-ups and scheme. And my scheming culminated in turning their power off, because if I'm too stupid to use electricity, they don't get to enjoy it either. A frame of mind that backfired spectacularly.
Oh shit, 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 shit. Shit, that's a lot of them. Zombies, help!
I unleashed hell upon them in my righteous fury to avenge that single scratch. Then I proceeded to steal their shit, which naturally backfired again.
That guy had a gun.
I popped a couple more, then I said fuck it, and sent it straight into the belly of the beast. Alas, the beast clearly had intestinal parasites.
Woo! Woo, that's a lot. Get him. Run. Did my gun just break? Oh my fucking god, my gun just broke.
I called for help and zombies were more than happy to oblige, so I got to sneak home with only a scratch to my name. But I earned another one straight up the next morning, when I underestimated a madman with a plunger.
God, you scratched my fucking thigh? It's another one.
There's a lesson for you there. Never underestimate a janitor, for the janitors are the caretakers of the modern world, gently pruning the shit that would otherwise clog the streets of our cities. I managed to retreat back to safety to patch my wounds, which got me to first aid level 1. The fact I had so many wounds drove me to depression, and clearly losing all that blood made me underweight. So to fight those symptoms, I popped some pills, tightened my belt, and jumped through the window.
Oh shit, raiders are showing up. Fuck.
I retreated back home to evade the visitors who never actually made it, but those who ate my visitors certainly did make it. After dealing with the intruders, I then went back to stir the hornet's nest.
Lady, stand still so I can shoot you, please. There you go.
I could say the hornets were lucky my shitty AK kept on jamming, but an eventual bullet to the head is still a bullet to the head. On day 20, I realized my isolation was starting to become a problem, because the only food I had left was one single chocolate bar. So instead of antagonizing the neighbors, I decided to explore the rest of the houses nearby. Now, you can call me Dora, because I explored the shit out of the neighborhood kitchens, stealing food, library cards, and sports collectibles. Naturally, the neighborhood watch disagreed with my actions, so I took their loudest representatives to visit the local watering hole.
I'm just gonna run through. Yeah, don't worry about it, I'm just running.
Alas, when I tried to split and sneak back home, the hole masters came to enact their revenge.
Get the fuck out of here. Oh my god, you scratched my neck? Ah, shit. We need to run.
So indeed, I escaped upstairs, where I patched the additional hole in my neck and spent the evening studying just how to patch it better the next time around. With a new neck wound, I wanted to take things easy, so naturally I jumped out the window and ran straight into the fray, which got my X skill to level 2.
So much about taking things easy today, to heal that neck wound. Yeah, easy.
Fighting around my base was still a laggy mess, and it was getting worse by the day, so to avoid looking at zombies shuffling by at 10 frames per second, I retreated into my den to read and work out like a bear without his maiden fare, just so I could do something really stupid the next morning.
Good thing I didn't break a fucking leg or something, that would have been horrible.
All that just to steal a trash can from the neighbors in a vague attempt to clean up all the garbage lying around my base and hopefully claw back a frame or 2 per second.
Okay, with the last piece deleted over here, at least my upper floor is now clean.
Taking a step further, I then reduced the corpse despawn rate to 72 hours, and I made the world more rainy in hopes that the rain and snow will clean up some of the bloody mess I left on the streets. I then continued exploring the neighborhood, mostly hunting for food and useful books, and once I managed to sneak into the Zippy Mart, I hit the jackpot.
Drink and eat everything what we cannot carry back home. Let's go.
I rushed back home with my ill-begotten treasure hoard, through the foggy streets where the screams of the living and the dead alike echoed eerily like my shower singing. With my food supplies now sorted, I could then focus on different things, like engaging with one of the only activities us Slavs and Americans can agree upon, shooting people trespassing on our lawns and breaking into our homes.
What are you doing up there, buddy? It's not going well.
After dispatching the last remaining raiders, I realized that they were actually my Discord moderators.
This guy was a underpants collector. What the fuck is this? Look at that.
Since I was bored, I decided to go check on my neighbors on day 25. Alas, besides some lost walkers, the house was abandoned and empty of people, but it was not empty of treasure.
Oh, look at the food they have. They were jarring eggplants and tomatoes. They were pickling the stuff.
I grabbed all the perishables I could possibly carry, gorging on delicious cuts of meat like a Slav who enters a Western supermarket for the first time. I then cooked all the pickled veggies to preserve them for even longer. Then I took the next step in my grand plan.
So I think my next goal is just eat, and just eat for the next few days.
And so I nom-nommed that frog meat like a wrong Canadian. Then I went to clean my lawn.
Whoa, 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 go fuck off. You scratch my head.
His friends were violent like love in a male prison, so I decided to speak their language. Alas, my bullets got lost in translation.
Oh wait, these guys are fighting each other.
At this point, I was up to 57 bandit kills, but as I snuck back to their base, the only thing on my mind was wholesale destruction of their furniture in an attempt to hit level 3 in carpentry. I started day 27 with light reading, then I went to exercise instead of eating extra fries. But since I was at last over 75 kilos again, I finally lost my underweight trait. Alas, I still had my cravings, so I murdered a bunch of innocent raiders to get my filthy paws on a couple of donuts. But this was America, so when the horde smelled those donuts in my inventory, their last working neurons started firing, and they swarmed me like I was a pastry delivery man in a police precinct. I continued my murder spree the next morning, with a goal to break into another mansion. But I was here for one thing and one thing only, leveling my carpentry skill to level 4, which took me the whole day. That now meant I could build a rain collector barrel, so I went to search for garbage bags on day 29. Along the way, I had to dispose of murderous bandits, clowns, and many undead lost in the streets until I found all the bags I needed.
Shit, there's a lot of these dudes here. I don't know who's friendly and who's not. I'm just fucking away.
On my way home, I noticed the apartments next doors were now occupied.
Oh my god. Holy shit, there's a lot in here.
No wonder I kept on hearing shots fired across the street as I played with my wood. But my wood allowed me to get to the roof, where I built that collector and connected it to the sink below.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got running water.
At this point, I realized I was running low on propane, but first I had to do laundry.
Look at that. For the first time in like 30 days, I am clean.
Another first came later after reading the next carpentry book, as I realized I was without wounds for the first time since day 1. After shooting a bunch of thieves the next morning, I decided to drive north up the laggy roads full of Zeds and bandits singing the songs of their people, which was awkward, like watching someone over 30 twerking while sober. I stopped at a house with a barbecue in the back, but before I could borrow their tank, I had to dance with the Zeds.
Fucking survivors. Always leaving the hard work to me.
But I got lucky with a big group of friendlies who came to zerg the undead, which allowed me to yoink the propane and skip. I also yoinked one of the bandit cars along the way.
Works. It's loud, but it works.
So to keep it quiet, I took out the battery, then I spent the whole afternoon dodging survivors and killing zombies to stick it into a better machine.
Let's freaking go. Grab the van, let's get the fuck out of here.
I went searching for more trash bags, but instead I found something much better.
Holy shit, how do you use generators? Let's fucking go. And, oh no, we already read this one, but let's fucking go.
I also found a needle in a random car and used the friendly neighbors to kill zombies for me, which got me the extra bags I needed. So I built a second collector on the roof, studied the generator book, and then patched my Swiss cheese clothing. Armed with my new knowledge, I then returned to the bandit base to steal their generator. But when I returned home to install it, I noticed this.
Whoa, 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 whoa. What is this fire here? Holy, what?
I've no idea how or when or why this happened, so I panicked and quickly attempted to extinguish the fire. Luckily, the incident seemed to be localized mostly on my tennis court, so crisis averted. I then connected the Jenny to the roof.
Ladies and gentlemen, let there be light.
That allowed me to install a fridge upstairs as well, and my home finally started looking a bit like an actual home and not a murder hobo den. I then ripped apart a bunch of corpses and used their leather and denim to beef up my clothing.
Well, I'll look like a tall goober now with all those denim patches.
I spent the rest of the day 34 studying the next tailoring book and cooking delicious food. Even though my base was now actually nice, I had quite enough of the laggy and borderline unplayable Louisville, so I ran over a bunch of bandits and hightailed it towards Louis entrance.
Holy shit, this is a completely different game now that I actually have frames per second. That's amazing.
I sent a horde of Zeds into the trees, and I sent a few more to the Shadow Realm, also known as Bratislava, just so I could clear the roadblock behind the hospital. That allowed me to beeline for the military blockade, with a goal to tear it open like an attention-starved kid tears open his presents on a Christmas morning.
It would be awesome to go loot all this, but I don't think that is a possibility right now.
I managed to outrun the hordes to yoink one of the roadblocks, but then I was swarmed and there was only one thing left to do.
Desperate times, desperate measures, right?
I managed to lure the masses away and butcher the stragglers, which allowed me to steal another block.
Just place it down, and we're good. Alright, that's enough. Let's fucking go. We're leaving.
Trying to retrieve my van at this point was stupid, like trying to learn alchemy to enlarge your penis. So I ran for the river, dodging the hordes late into the night to sneak back home. But when I returned, I found this.
What the fuck are you doing there? off my fucking rope.
I then spent the rest of day 36 jerking off. Then I started loading up my van with everything I wanted to bring with me when I left Louis. My main goal was to transfer as much ammo as possible because I knew that without that I'd be dead meat. So I emptied up my storage, which quickly added up.
I didn't even start putting the food in. It's full already. This is bullshit.
I had some tough decisions to make, and like a college girl at a frat party, I decided to eat all the meat I couldn't carry along with me. I said goodbye to my laggy shithole the next morning, and I drove off into the sunset. I made it safe and sound past the hospital checkpoint and waved goodbye to my abandoned van.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we are free of Louisville. Let's get the frick out of here.
Surprisingly, that was the easier part of my journey, because after weaving through the hordes of the highway, I ran into a slight problem.
Oh shit. Okay, we need to get away from here. Let's go, let's move out.
I backtracked to the railway tracks, but those ended up being barricaded as well, so I squeezed onto a countryside road and drove the long way around. There were some tight spots and it was partially overgrown, but I managed to sneak back onto the highway just past West Point. At this point, it was getting dark, so I decided to stop at the nearby pit stop, which went something like this.
Send it. Oh, you turned on the car alarms as well? For fuck.
So I hid on top of the gas station where even an autistic chimpanzee with a rifle could fish from the barrel. That got me to level 4 aiming. Then I noticed something even better.
Holy shit, my sneaking skill, it just goes up like crazy because there's so many zombies down here. Oh, it would be a shame if somebody were to exploit this, huh?
So I abused that until 3 in the morning, at which point my sneaking and light-footed were both level 6. Since the Z spread out a bit overnight, I was able to easily continue my journey the next day.
Let's go, let's get the fuck out of here before we get eaten.
I reloaded my mags while driving down the empty roads on my way to a peaceful rural town called Rabbit Hash. Alas, the place was not quite as peaceful as advertised.
Hey, isn't this supposed to be a quiet town? This doesn't seem to be too quiet to me.
I used my newfound sneaking skills to lure them into the woods, like going on an LSD trip and never coming back, while your foster parents desperately tried to convince the police you were a nice, well-liked kid who never got into any trouble.
It's not over until the fat lady sings. And I think I just killed the fat lady, so she ain't gonna be singing for me.
I cleared out the house of old farmers' bastard children, ready to spend the night, but then friendly help arrived.
Please don't shoot your gun here, you fool.
He brought back every zombie I previously sent to a rehab in the forest, and I had to spend the rest of the evening putting them to sleep. The next morning, I noticed the survivors already began setting up shop in the neighborhood, as I fought my way back onto the main road in a futile attempt to find my evening helper. Since my car was now a pile of scrap, I decided to yoink a Land Rover I found on the road, but first I had to replace its empty battery. Naturally, the locals resented my actions, but they couldn't stop the strong arm of progress.
Oh, let's freaking go. We got ourselves a new car that just died. What?
Yeah, the engine was pretty beat up, but it was better than nothing. On day 42, I then went to explore towards what was my ultimate base destination. Alas, I soon realized the path through the woods was not as empty as I thought.
How many motherfuckers are there? Are you kidding me? This is supposed to be a forest or what?
I soon spotted the place in the foggy distance, but when trying to make my way to it, I got swarmed once again.
Jesus. There's still quite a lot over here. Fucking hell. Get out. All of you, get out.
I decided to kite them back to the house, climbed the chicken coop, and started blasting.
Oh my god, look at how many are coming through the frickin' forest.
What I did to those poor fuckers was akin to a sentient asbestos cloud, high on prescription medications blowing wild through a children's hospital. But unlike the cloud, I soon ran out of lead-fueled steam.
That's scented. Oh, barely any remained? Barely any remained? What?
I thought none remained below, and I got a scratch to my thigh as a reward for my cockiness. So I was soon back to sneaking and fighting with my trusty crowbar. But luckily I resupplied from my truck, because just when I thought I was in the clear, this happened.
Shit. Raiders are here. Raiders are fucking here.
I ran for the main road, trying to distract the gun-wielding lunatics with zombies, and I did manage to kill a couple with the help of the locals. But when I thought I was safe again, well, this happened.
I hear you shooting. Oh! What? No. Fuck, I got shot in the fucking leg.
I scrambled back to the chicken coop, where I pulled out 3 bullets from my body and stitched the wounds, hitting terminal damage in the process and barely staying alive.
Holy shit, I almost died from this. I think the zombies did get the survivor, so
At least there was that, but I was a complete wreck, so I tried fixing my body by eating a whole piece of butter. Since that kinda worked, I then spent the rest of the night contemplating life, its mysteries, and wondering how the fuck am I supposed to watch furry porn now that the internet was gone.
Well, if I ever want to leave, these zombies have to die, so I guess might as well shoot them.
I then spotted one of the evil survivors still kicking around. I wasn't sure if he was the one that turned my thick thighs into a pair of Swiss cheese inspired blood sausages, but I decided to throw a small party when I finally sniped him, and since I'm a Slav, the main attraction at my party was a rifle.
There's a fucking survivor there. Somebody kill her, please, while I reload.
By the time the evening rolled around, I was finally ready to escape my chicken prison, and I quickly barricaded myself upstairs into the main house.
Alright, we should now be safe to heal up here.
But I couldn't stay put for long, so I descended down a rope to rip apart zombie shoes in an attempt to patch the many new bullet holes in my clothing. If that wasn't enough, I then tried looking for bandit corpses to loot, which turned out to be an idea almost as stupid as cutting skin off of a penis for religious purposes.
Whoa, 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 where you are? Oh, for fuck's sake! Are you fucking shitting me?
Yeah, that was 2 new large bullets in my body, but at least I managed to get the fucker before I fucked off back home to pull the lead out of my head and stitch up the wounds.
How many freaking wounds are we gonna have? Are you kidding me? I have 5 bullet wounds in me right now.
I then just chilled inside, which made me very bored, but luckily I found a porn magazine to occupy my time. Alas, I forgot this was the early 90s, when bushes still dominated peaks and valleys, and that got me depressed.
We are eating dog food now, cause we're slowly running out of food, and since I'm already depressed, why not?
Luckily, I still had some antidepressants in my van, so I gorged myself on pills before going to sleep. The next morning, both of my thigh wounds were finally fully healed, so I celebrated by going back outside in search of the corpse of a guy who shot me last. I grabbed his M14 for myself, then I went to loot a couple of cars down the road, an empty church and an even emptier toilet. Then I heard the bullets fly again.
Oh shit, somebody's shooting again. Where the fuck are you?
I explained to him exactly what I thought of people using guns near me, which brought a small horde of ravenous beasts upon my head, like ringing a dinner bell outside the homeless shelter, but at least I got my long blunt skill to level 4. At this point, I was underweight again, and since my food supplies were rapidly dwindling, I decided to try my hand at foraging. Alas, that didn't last long.
Excuse me, who the fuck are you?
A horde of zombies came to answer that particular question, and just like that time when I asked my parents if they loved me, the answer was not to my liking. At least the bandit's bag was full of goodies, which I put to good use as I spent the rest of the day foraging up to level 2 and finding this.
That's a proper military tower, isn't it? There's a bunch of zombies as well over there. I don't think we can get in though.
On day 48, I then snuck back to my future base.
It is a bit clearer than it used to be, that's for damn sure.
But it was clear for all of 5 seconds. Then they came at me out of the woods like I was a Black Friday salesman somewhere in a small town USA, waving their rotten hands at me like they used to wave plastic cards at the altar of capitalist consumerism.
Let's fucking go, finally. We're done with you guys.
I took a quick rest, then I explored the Hoboden, which was full of goodies.
Oh, 2 boxes of shotgun shells? You'll love to see it.
With my new home now conquered, I then built the first water collector on the roof. The next morning, the food shortage finally forced me to go into civilization, so I fought my way to the yet unexplored house further down the road, where I spotted this.
The survivors, by any chance, set up a base there? Yes, they did. I can see their mattresses inside. They might have food there.
Alas, it seemed like the place was overrun, and after kiting and killing 2 huge hordes all the way back to the main road, all my efforts came to naught.
Yeah, this place is not worth it. What the fuck is going on here? Why are there so many zombies around this place?
I did explore the main house and a smaller shack in the woods though, finding a little bit of food and a lot of alcohol in the process. So in true Slav fashion, I now consumed the required calories via bottles of liquor, which gave me the power needed to return to my future base. I built another rain collector there and plumbed the sinks down below. Then I built a bed on the roof as well.
This is gonna be our future bed. I can already see it. It's gonna be glorious. I chopped down a couple more trees the next day and built a ladder to the roof for easier access. Then I dug up a bunch of soil, spread it out next to the water barrels, and planted my one and only sack of potatoes. There we go. Our rooftop farm is ready. Of course, I had to water the plants as well. Then I returned on day 52 to build a small room around the single bed. I chopped down trees, I fought the zombies. I sawed the logs, I fought the zombies. I built the walls, and I fought the zombies. And then it was finally kinda complete. Look at that. What a cozy, nice room. You'll have to see it. I'd install windows from the farmhouse to install at my new shack. I also built a door and went to chop more trees to finish the roof. My little shack is complete and I'm finally without any wounds. What a day to be alive. I then extended the platform to the hobo den and installed a sink inside my bedroom, which was then ready for me to spend my first night there. On day 54, I returned to the farmhouse to haul over my most precious cargo, my generator. I installed it on the platform, which was to serve as my storage area as well. But on one of my trips back and forth, I noticed this. Wait a fucking minute. There's a generator there? Are they setting up in my chicken coop? I murdered the lone occupant of my coop, and good riddance, because unlike my subscribers who are all clean and amazing people, he smelled like chicken shit. But I don't judge. If you smell or not, you're welcome here. So subscribe now and let's murder some more chicken shits together. The next morning, I grabbed my Land Rover and drove to check out on that zombie all-around bandit base. Alas, my car broke down along the way, ringing a dinner bell for the forest walkers. Are you shooting? She's shooting at my fucking car! Dude! Are you fucking shitting me? Fucking survivors! I dispatched the Zeds and looted the offensive bandit, who actually had a suppressed SMG which I was happy to grab. Then I drove to my goal where a group of friendlies were already besieging that hotly contested piece of land. Oh yeah, there's a lot in here. Good luck, survivors. Good luck, have fun. I helped them clear out the area, which cost many a bandit their life, but that was a price I was willing to pay. Unfortunately, the loot was pretty meh, but I finally found what I was looking for after I helped the survivors clean up another overrun bandit shack. Finally gonna be eating proper again. Let's fucking go. A friendly NPC came to die at my base on day 56, but instead of giving him a proper burial, I cooked myself a tasty meal. Now that I had perishable foods again, I needed a fridge, so I brought one over from the farmhouse. I also patched up my new coat, then I decided to find a road leading to my base the next day, which meant I had to drive through the rabbit hash proper. There's a couple more zombies here and survivors. But I managed to push through to the overgrown dirt path that connected to my home. I had to haul away a burned piece of junk, then I chopped down all the trees plaguing the road until it was clear again. Hell yeah, now we have a path to our base. Oh, that is awesome. I moved the car blocking the entrance, cleaned up my trash, and enjoyed a nice dinner. Since my bed was only of average quality, I then stole a better one from the farmhouse the next morning. There you go, that is a better bed now, and we have this nice antenna to poke us in the eye while we sleep. I also still had a bunch of guns and ammo stored in my old van, so I went to bring everything over. It took me 3 trips throughout the day, but then I was finally properly moved in. I then rebuilt the door on the crack den and boarded up the broken windows. I went exploring the next day, looking for a Riverside house I knew to be nearby. I found it, but I also found a lot of zombies and even more survivors dying loudly to the said zombies. Jesus. What a fucking war zone this is. They went through that river house smoothly like a rusty knife through a frozen cadaver. But the local swarm of bandits did manage to kinda clear the area, allowing me to steal a propane-fueled barbecue, which I then used to cook my dinner. I snuck back to the river on day 60, looting the many NPC bodies as I went. But then I saw this. I hear a helicopter. Did the fucking raiders come with a helicopter? I ran back to the road where I had clearer sights, but when nobody showed up, I snuck to the river to investigate. I found a bunch of zombies and some friendly survivors, but what happened to the helicopter raiders remained a mystery. Since I didn't want to risk too much, I retreated back home to read, exercise, and shave my ugly mug. Look at that. Pops is actually looking like a proper human being for once. I drove to the river again the next morning, where angry survivors roamed the streets besieging the nearby houses. I used them as a distraction to grab everything useful, then I spotted they were setting up a base nearby again. I also took care of a bunch of raiders who went for a swim to catch the fabled local winter fish called pneumonia. Then I continued looting the laggy town. The next morning I returned to loot the swimmers, but the frozen river prevented me from building on top of it, so all I got for my effort was a bunch of walkers on my ass. Not allow me to get there, even though I built the floors here. You stupid
So instead, I decided to go check out the new bandit base, where I earned my 100th bandit kill. In fact, I earned 10 more kills, at which point the farmhouse was empty, and I was able to loot it.
Oh, let's fucking go. They managed to stack up the place already with food. Very nice.
I filled my inventory with pickled veggies, stocking my fridge for the rest of the winter. A friendly tried breaking into my base the next morning, for which I rewarded him with a bullet to the head. He had a new AK for me, and since he was a friendly, I decided to give him a proper burial.
Here lies the dude that tried to open my doors. None of that.
I then built another rain collector, which brought me to level 5 in carpentry. I also built a new storage crate for my canned goods and brought up a display table for my guns. I then built a small bookshelf for the books I found in the town. Then I spent the evening exercising and reading. I murdered another chicken coop resident on day 64. I then fought off a bunch of Zeds so I could steal a couple of lamps and a flower. I installed them at my base, then I patched up my coat. Then I returned to the bandit base to grab more food, but when I returned back home to cook it, I noticed this.
Here they come. Oh, that's a lot of them.
They kept on trying to grab something, making for a nice target practice for me, and when I went to loot them, I noticed this.
Oh boy, look at that. This guy had a katana on him. It's shitty quality, but it's a freaking katana. Let's go.
In fact, I ended up with 5 katanas and for some reason a lot of bugs and worms. I ripped apart all of their clothing the next morning, and since it seemed like they were all priests, I decided to give them a burial. Burying those 15 corpses was hard work, and it took me most of the day, which I then ended with exercise and some light evening reading. I decided to visit the military tower on day 66, testing out my new katanas on squishy zombie skulls.
Let's put my new katana to good use. Oh yeah, this feels good.
Indeed, it felt good, like eating a whole watermelon in the shower. I also noticed I can just snipe the zombies who were on the top floors, allowing me to build a ladder over the fence in peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are in. Let's go.
I connected a bridge to the tower and went to explore it, but besides a couple of pieces of military clothing, it was empty like my heart. I then went home to exercise, which at long last got me to level 7 strength. So, feeling strong, I decided to visit the town again the next morning.
Suddenly there's more zombies in the streets and not so many survivors, huh?
I took out the roaming Zeds and hunted down anyone who dared use a pistol in my vicinity, slowly working my way to the town center.
There's the actual center of the town, and there's a police station there as well we could possibly loot.
Alas, it was not yet the day for that, for I had to run when a huge horde started conga lining in my general direction. I did find a big group of survivors who were stuck in a house though, and I put them out of their misery. Then I went back home to rest, but I was rudely awoken in the middle of the night.
Ooh, we are being raided at 3:30 in the morning? I hear a fucking helicopter or something.
The raid completely killed my FPS. I saw the group hiding in the deep forest, but I couldn't quite reach them with my gun. But stupidly, they came to my front door one by one, and one by one, they hit the ground. When the morning broke, there seemed to be none left, and after checking their corpses, I recognized them.
It's the priests again. The priests have arrived. And they brought more katanas with them? Let's fucking go.
I wasn't sure if there were any left in the forest, so I decided to stick around my base for the day. I trained tailoring, reaching level 4 in the process, which then allowed me to study the next tailoring book, a book I brought with me all the way from Louisville. On the nice day 69, I drove back to the town center. This time around, I went full on liberating force, channeling my inner USA military spirit, and feeling gloriously full of myself like a G.I. Joe who single-handedly brought freedom to a shelled village somewhere deep in the Middle East.
If I can snipe them, then that's less that I have to deal with close combat.
But close combat wasn't so bad with a katana in my hand, and I even hit level 2 in Longblade, but I knew it wouldn't last. So when the katana eventually broke, I felt warm inside, knowing I ripped a bloody toll with it, and I still had 8 stashed back at my base. I looted the general store next, or at least as much as I could. Then I returned back home, where I hit level 2 electrical after dismantling a watch on one of the nighttime intruders. I also ripped apart every single priest I could get my hands on. Then I finished studying the next tailoring book. With a new knowledge in hand, I then went to practice tailoring, which eventually got me to level 5. While driving to the town the next morning, I noticed another bandit base popped up, but dealing with that wasn't yet on my agenda. Instead, I drove on, clearing up small groups of Zeds and making my way into the center.
That's our local gas station that we can finally hook up now.
But first, I had to deal with a bunch of locals who were bent on destruction of everything that was beautiful and holy. I then broke into the police station, finding a precious gem in there.
Oh, a canister of 12 gauge. Yo, you'll love to see it. Let's go. And 5.56 as well.
I had to tow a couple of vehicles to then bring my car through to the gas station so I could refuel it after hooking up a generator. On my way home, I then dealt with the bandits infesting a forest shack. Then I returned to the town the next morning with a new plan. Since I couldn't make it into the back of the general store without a sledge, I tried the cheesy way of going through from the top. Alas, the plan failed.
The roof is too sturdy to break through. That's unfortunate. But, well, I had to try.
So I went back to looting the nearby area, finding seeds, a new rifle, and most importantly, a gun cleaning kit. On day 73, I then went to check up on 2 new survival houses that popped up, and of course, I already knew where to find them.
People love chicken coop base. Oh, she's got a gun. And that's a zombie.
After ripping apart a couple of zombie shoes for leather, I returned back home to train tailoring, which got me to level 6. I used my new skill to then improve some of my new clothing to beef up my general protection. At this point, only one small area of rabbit hash remained unexplored, and I wanted to check it out before day 75, because I knew that after that day, all the late game raids will have a chance to pop up, and I wanted to be around my base then to stay safe.
Shit. My car just died. Right in the middle of a bunch of zombies. You'll love to see that.
Yes, no matter how many Zeds I killed, outside of my base would never be safe. So I took it nice and easy, one zombie group at a time.
Well, if I had a boat, I could fuel it up there. That would be nice.
Alas, I did not have a boat. All I had was a bunch of walkers and somehow, once again, a group of katana-wielding priests.
Are you, like, fighting each other or something?
Those left alive ran into the forest, and since I didn't want to get stabbed in the back, I drove back home, only stopping at the river house to grab a spare propane tank. The next morning, I then went to upgrade the last of my pieces of clothing with the level 6 leather patches.
Wait, if I wear a hoodie instead of a helmet, I can actually add leather strips padding, and I actually have some bullet protection. Sure, I lose the bite and scratch, but this actually works better.
So hoodie it was over a helmet to protect from bullet wounds, which made as much sense as a human fisting animatronic girls. I then harvested my first batch of potatoes, which got my farming skill to level 1, and I replanted the area with cabbages. Next I wanted to improve my carpentry skill, but I knew that I'd need a lot of wood for it, so I decided to clear the area around my fence, giving myself a clearer sightlines into the forest. I used the planks to build a makeshift garage for my car, and I added some more wooden fences to the roof.
So that should keep me falling off the roof while I do my farming.
I continued chopping trees on day 76 to get the wood to build a shack on the roof of the shack. While I was building, a bunch of bandits popped up in the forest again. Alas, it was so foggy, all I could hear were shots in the distance. Not knowing what they were up to, I decided to stay inside and read in peace. But the next morning, I felt brave, so I went back outside to chop more trees. Beside a couple of Zeds, it was peaceful, honest work that filled my soul with happiness. Happiness which I then channeled to murder a couple of people in cold blood.
Oh, there's a dude running through the forest there. I saw him. Get back here.
I then grabbed 2 windows from the farmhouse to install in my new shack, which I continued building on day 78.
And there we go. The roof of this bad boy is now also complete.
I then took 2 zombie-infested trips to the farmhouse and back, where I borrowed their pretty birchwood flooring from my rec room.
This is starting to look comfy. I like it.
The next morning, I was rudely awakened by a bunch of priests running through the forest again, and this time around, they made a mistake to get close enough for me to shoot a couple. After breakfast, I decided to go look for survivors, alas, finding none. So since all the raids have been spawning in roughly the same area, I decided to cut down all the trees in that general direction. I went to war with the nature so my sights would be clear, and neither zombie nor human could hide from me. I chopped throughout the whole day, taking short breaks in between to fight zombies and regain my endurance, and after breaking 3 axes, I was satisfied with my work.
I gotta say, this is much better. I'll be able to see so much further into the forest now.
But since my carpentry skill was progressing slowly, I decided to approach it the usual way, by destroying every single piece of furniture I could get my hands on. I ruined my way through 2 farmhouses until I finally hit level 6. Alas, I still needed 1 more level to upgrade the walls to level 3, so I just grabbed the antique oven and carted it back home to further improve my rec room. I found a zombie trying to break into the crack den the next morning, and after dealing with him, I decided to spend the day reading the next carpentry book. But then I was rudely interrupted by some raiders. Oh, I see them. There's a couple and they got guns. I sniped them deep into the forest, but my silenced SMG couldn't quite reach them all, so I switched to a bigger rifle. Oh boy, this thing is loud as hell. While I focused on the forest, a couple more tried sneaking in through the front gate, but I caught them in time. I switched my gun of choice to a shotgun the next day because I wanted a bit more stopping power while I went to search their bodies. Holy balls, look at that! These guys are stacked. I found a new vest with better encumbrance reduction and a couple of good guns. Then I went to finish that carpentry book. Since storage was now becoming a problem, I decided to build a couple more crates. Or I guess a lot more crates. I now knew raiders sucked at using ropes to climb up, so I needed to give them stairs. But in no way did I want to make it easy for them. In fact, I built a trap corridor.
Raiders now actually have access to my home, so we'll see what they do next.
Of course, I needed to be prepared for that, so I built more fences on the roof and added a new sky bridge. Since zombies now also had access to my sleeping quarters, I decided to build another cozy shack on top of my current cozy shack. But then thieves and raiders decided to interrupt my work. Oh shit, and raiders as well? This could be a problem. Alas, it was not a problem because all I could hear were shots in the distance and nobody ever showed up. But at 2:40 in the morning, another set of raiders did show up. I had to wait for a while, then I spotted them sneaking in. Oh, you fuckers think you're stealthy, huh? I went to loot their corpses when all was quiet, but then I glimpsed a dude in the trees and quickly ran for the safety of my roof. After that, I didn't dare go sleep again, so I stood watch over my gates until the morning. Then I went to yoing their goodies. Oh, look at the armor in this guy! Holy shit, this is huge! Another group of thieves then popped up, and at this point I was starting to feel like a prisoner in my base. But I really needed to do a quick trip to the farmhouse, so I decided to brave the dangers lurking in the woods. I grabbed the window I left there the last time and dismantled a couple more doors for doorknobs and hinges, but on my way back I was ambushed.
I can hear him shooting! Oh, there he is. Got him!
I got really lucky. He hit the car multiple times instead of me, and so I survived another day. I went on a trip to the farmhouse the next morning, where this happened.
I see the little
Fuck! Where the hell did you come from? That's how I earned 2 new bullet holes plus a scratch when I fell running back to safety. I stitched up my body, then I went to stitch up a couple new pieces of clothes to replace the one now sponsored by the Swiss. I decided to stick around the base while healing, so I did some busy work and brought the 2 broken cars inside the fence. That then gave me another excuse to build something from wood and get my carpentry up, which is exactly what I spent the whole day working on, until a small garage sprung around the 2 rusty pieces of junk. I also improved my farming to level 2 when harvesting a new batch of potatoes on day 88. Then I was back to work on the garage.
Let's freaking go, we finally did it!
Level 7 carpentry. That meant I could finally upgrade my walls to level 3, so I did that throughout the rest of the day. At this point, my wounds were healed, so I felt brave enough to once again leave my base. I went to the farmhouse to borrow the carpet, which I installed into my upper floor bedroom.
Oh yes, look at that. That's the perfect fit for a Barbie boy.
With all the walls upgraded, I started mixing plaster to upgrade them even further.
Let's go, it's gonna look so much better now.
But plastering all the walls was not the end of my upgrades yet, as next I grabbed a can of blue paint and went to work.
This is so nice.
These are actual homes now! I painted the indoors blue and the outer walls green as befitting a forest shack. I was finished with painting the next morning, at which point I went to upgrade my bedroom with a new bookshelf and a corner element. Then I built a new rain collector on the roof. One last job remained, and that was to roof up the garage. I was interrupted by a couple of thieves passing by, but they let me be, so I worked on it until I ran out of wood in the evening. Then I went to relax with a book in my fresh bedroom. At this point, I've survived for 3 months and my base was almost complete, but there were still some final touches I wanted to add. I finished building the garage roof, then I went to clean the chicken coop, but then 2 more notifications popped up, so I ran back home in search of safety, which is when I noticed this.
Excuse me?
How the hell did the squatters set up in my fucking base? Then the raiders showed up as well, trying to outsquad the squatters. Oh, they have key cards. I wonder what that opens. I put it away for safekeeping, then I went back to work when a squad of friendlies showed up, which led to this. Oh! These guys are fighting downstairs. I took out the enemy, then I was rudely awoken at 1:30 in the morning.
Are you enemy or friend? Well, you're enemy now.
I spotted one of them stuck in the distance, but since I couldn't reach them, I went for my friends. Yeah, they were annoying me, so I took out the big guns and we went for a spin.
They're trying to climb.
Not anymore. Yes, I might be a murderer, but war is just business, and Miss Morality wasn't about to pay my bills. A while later, a bunch of thieves showed up trying to steal my wood, but when it comes to my wood, I don't allow just anyone to touch it, so I took that as a serious offense. But then I got greedy and tried looting the bodies. Oh fuck. Fuck. I just got shot in the arm. Who the fuck is shooting at me? I couldn't find the perpetrator, but I definitely found 2 new bullet wounds to fix. Not knowing who shot me, I decided to stick to my base on day 93. I patched my freshly torn clothing, I gave Pops a fresh haircut, and I listened to the radio. Since all seemed peaceful, I then decided to practice mechanics in the afternoon until I reached level 2. I removed my stitches the next morning, noticing that a group of thieves popped up nearby. There's someone standing over there. None of that. I still had some work left on my base, so I went to plaster the garage until I got interrupted again. Oh, there's a dude. That dude just shot a zombie. And since I shot him, I felt safer now, thinking he was probably the one who got me the last time, but I couldn't know for certain. Since my wounds were now healed, I went to check on the neighbors, which is when a group of friendlies popped up scaring me shitless. Whoa, somebody just shot this guy. Who the fuck is shooting these guys? Whoa, somebody outside? There was a somebody outside, but I wasn't sure if he was a friend or foe. But when more of the military turned up dead, I knew there was a predator out there, because suddenly I had yet another bullet lodged in my body. That guy's getting shot. Oh, there he is! He got him! The friendly got him! I went to patch up my new wound, but then I noticed the friendlies dropping inside my base, so I had a little bit of a revenge. That guy had another key on him, and I was sure if one day I decided to go for more than 100 days, trying to find what these keys unlock would be my next goal. I painted the garage the next morning, fixed up my new gloves, and then I watched the military go wild. Holy fuck! You definitely got him, boys. They woke me up the next morning by blasting a zombie, but they also blasted apart a forest thief. Who are you? Why are you stealing my logs? He actually was trying to steal my logs, trying to prevent me from finishing my final goal and building the sturdiest base ever. Now that should tell the raiders to fuck off. I then completed the flooring project in the garage and sorted out my 2 trash cans on wheels. My last bullet wound was finally fully healed, and it being day 98, I was certain I'd never need a bandage again in this playthrough. Since nobody was trying to raid me, I then went to practice mechanics, hitting level 3 in the process. At that point, my moodles began stacking up, so I spent the evening just chilling. The next morning, I visited the chicken coop again, and the friendly military boys decided to join me. Holy balls, they're going ham on these zombies. They insisted on protecting me for my last days in Kentucky, and they earned their pay with a classic prank. Whoa, what are you guys doing? Why all just oh, they all just died. Turns out only 3 of them died, which left me less protected from the raiders who then showed up. But before they actually showed up, I did this. Oh shit! I fell on the fucking roof! Yeah, that was moronic, but luckily I did have a splint ready to go, because soon after those raiders did show up to blast up my protectors. Holy fuck, that's a fucking battle! I can't tell who's winning from this point, but it sounds bad. I hid on the roof as the shooting died down, not knowing who won and not wanting to check out with my broken leg. But then the final day arrived and I decided to be brave. I took some time to watch a movie while my boys stood guard over me, but not for long. Here they are. They're already here and they're shooting my friends. Holy fuck. But this was my base and this was my home. And I showed those raiders who's the big boss over here. Even if I could only limp, I could still shoot. As another battle raged down below during the night, I made sure to stand guard. Because then at long last, the big moment hit. I survived 100 days, killing 237 bandits in the process and doing what nobody on my Discord thought possible. I survived the Louisville CDDA and the Bandits Challenge. Thank you again, Surfshark, for sponsoring this video, and thank you everyone for watching.